Titanic, a gracious lady. Titanic, there she lies amid the dark and the gloom. All around her eerie silence in a deep watery tomb. They said she could not fail, fashioned by hand of man. But the ocean's elements claimed her, and the downward journey began. As into the abyss she traveled swiftly on that fateful day, it could have been avoided in hindsight, many say. Mighty must have been the thud as the long journey ended, and to the very bowels of the sea she ultimately descended. And so, with the last groaning breath of twisted metal, before the stillness and the quiet, the sediments did settle. Ne'er to grow old and jaded, as we left here to wither, the seas bade this princess in her youth, come ye hither. This sweet flower, seed of unrealistic human quest for perfection, on the ocean floor now doth rest. Cut down before she blossomed, thus unable to fulfill the promise, set store. But for her time stands still, the sunshine briefly tasted, e'en though it was short. For on that day long, long ago, after leaving home port, she was already doomed. Life was slowly ebbing away. Soon she would be sleeping in a dark world where day never does dare venture, just dull, continuous night. Subsequent generations have been intrigued by the plight of the passengers, the master and crew at their station, as they realized the hopelessness of the whole sorry situation. Many tales of heroism and cowardice, both fiction and fact, have emerged, and from time to time, players will reenact on celluloid the fascination of tragic events that transpired. And the demise of this lady, once by the whole world admired, now discovered is her last resting place and frozen in time. The remote camera and floodlight reveal grace and beauty, sublime the majestic ballroom where revelers once made merry, danced to the orchestra, ate lavish meals, drank finest sherry. Is today like a sunken cathedral, so vast is this space, an enchanted cavern with a now profound ghostly face. The delicate chandeliers still hang there, but algae encrusted. To the eternal safeguard of the deep they have been entrusted. The notched stairways where one place to another hurried, her charges fortunate to make and reputations not to be sullied, and business engagements which were important at one time to keep. The craftsman's splendor is still there, though now so very sleep. She effortlessly eclipsed others before no expense was reserved. Newly appointed with delicious grandeur, the legend well deserved. And deep inside her, where faceless men once endlessly toiled, shoveling fuel into her furnaces, more water to be boiled. The enormous vessel's appetites they strove valiantly to sate, unaware of events transpiring that would soon seal her fate. The steam piston engines with gargantuan stroke and bore, now reclining giants, their strength alas needed no more. The huge propellers that moved her assured, the waves over, too lie motionless, like huge submerged four-leafed clover. The gunwales, the bridge where the captain proud stood tall, have lain long far below, covered in this ancient maritime pall. She retains an aura, though the murky depths do enshroud her. Like a sleeping beauty, she patiently awaits with not a stir. Her prince to arrive, and with a kiss this maiden to awake. But this will never happen, and respects must we for the sake of these poor souls who perished with her, and forever lie on the seabed, so cold and so deep as a mountain is high. That was a poem by Jennifer Kersey, read by Barry Buzz Fitzgerald.
Thank you. A very special request now comes from one of our all-time long-term fans on Facebook and in the UK, Jennifer Kersey, and she would particularly love to hear Chuck Morgan accompany me on a lovely song written by Jerome. I'm just wondering whether everyone in the audience can hear the wonderful sound of Cyril Bevan on the drums. Yes. Good. By the way, Cyril was the accompanist for many years, a drummer, personal drummer for Winifred Atwell throughout the UK, and also he toured all over Australia. He's been to some places that we haven't been. And also he fronted the band in London's Talk of the Town for something like 18 years. And we were doing the concert, ladies and gentlemen, Cyril Bevan. We were doing a concert up in Caithness 2 days ago, and a singer, a friend of ours called Todd Gordon, did some songs, a wonderful version of a Sacha Distel song called The Good Life. And Cyril said, actually, I played for Sacha Distel in the Talk of the Town. So he knew the whole arrangement. Now here comes this lovely song that always makes me think of my parents, because when we're growing up in a little town in South Australia called Mount Compass, I've got 4 brothers. Dad was a dairy farmer, Mum was a teacher. It always makes me think of them watching their children grow up on the front lawn. Someday we'll build a home on a hilltop high, you and I, shiny and new, a cottage that 2 can fill, and we'll be pleased to be called the folks who live on the hill. Someday we may be adding a thing or 2, a wing or 2. We will make changes as any family will, but we will always be called the folks who live on the hill. Our veranda will command a view of meadows green, the sort of view that seems to want to be seen. And when the kids grow up to leave us, we'll sit and look at that same old view, me and you, Darby and Someday we'll build a home on a hilltop high, you and I, shiny and new, a cottage that two can fill, and we'll be pleased to be called the folks who live on the hill. Someday we may be adding a thing or two, a wing or two. We will make changes as any family will, but we will always be called the folks who live on the hill. Our veranda will command a view of meadows green, the sort of view that seems to want to be seen.
Spring is here. Just look around, see signs of indication. Mother Nature is donning her light coat in anticipation of summer, heralded long and of warmer climate to come. Souls refreshed and bodies by radiating rays of the sun. Despite man's war, wanton destruction and strife all around, myriad flora of all manner resolutely push up from the ground. All arrayed in simple beauty, yet of such splendour evoke, they do not engage in harm or their neighbours provoke. God's palette, rich with colours, heavenly mixed in the blue, man never quite reaching the true diversity in depth and hue. Oh, that our condition was tinged with such basic humility. The daily aim of the flowers to just shine is their ability. Mortals can only ever be a poor reflection, even at best, of all that the Lord regularly offers us. And this is a test humans do fail. For, just as the flowers, in their innocent glory, as do the birds and beasts who share this everlasting glory, show that financial value is nothing but hard endeavour wasted. Beauty and real wealth, seldom found, but often imitated. Yes, spring is here, all around, colour explodes in our lives, and we are reminded, again, that the continuous plan survives. A poem by Jennifer Kersey. Summer, a time of contentment, warmth, general well-being and blue skies. Long carefree days where hazy sunshine lifts our souls to new highs. Up in the heavens, jet planes exhaust streams gently crisscross, and cotton wool clouds aimlessly float like soft fluffy candy floss. Whilst far below Mother Nature, now completely awake on the ground, infant animal offspring reflect life beginning anew again, all around from her long sleep. During the winter period, hibernation is now over. Trees and shrubs heavied with seed and luscious foliage, grass with clover. Despite this, clouds will sometimes cover the sun, causing weather broody and the resultant effect ever making humans feel depressed and moody. However, it is only temporary, like all things must eventually turn, and soon comforting rays will reappear brightly and quash all concern. Summer, a time to grow and later harvest crops from the good soil, to just enjoy being alive and savour in full the fruits of our toil. For winter is always not too far away, just around the corner, biding time, patiently waiting. But for now, all is well on God's earth, beauty sublime. A poem by Jennifer Kersey. Autumn by Jennifer Kersey. Autumn, my favourite season of the year. a time to reflect on all to me that is dear. Gone is the summer with its long lazy days. Now near is the winter with his wily old ways. Mother Nature in her auburn cloak is attired. The russet picture she paints like an artist inspired. The slight morning chill, the nip in the air, excitement, wonder, no human feet can compare. Little gust playfully teased the leaves from the trees. Was it only yesterday they made fun of the breeze? Wild animals everywhere preparations do make for the long winter's sleep, no chances they take. The cosy evenings to be spent in front of the fire, no more summer recreations do I now desire. Neat piles of leaves into secluded corners blown, the remains of the harvests in early summers sown. In the wood nearby, of horse chestnut collecting memories unfold, crisp foliage underfoot now like a thick carpet of gold. Somewhere a bonfire burns and steadily consumes its autumnal feed. I know well the scent of these fumes. The sun makes its way in a low arc across the sky. Migrating birds soon to hotter climes they will fly. Now is the time to dwell on things that are past, and to realize that nothing really ends or forever does last. Life rolls by, and unlike the seasons, we are mortal. But after the winter we'll withstand that spring's portal, ready again to blossom into eternal life anew, to play our part like the sun, the rain, and the dew. Just like water, the essence of life since time began, our forefathers used it in the great everlasting plan. Like us, to bathe, quench our thirst, then disregarded it goes down the drain, and eventually into a river it flows. This very same water John used, the Christ, to baptize in the Jordan, then to the sea. It evaporated into the skies, only to fall pure and refreshed from the heavens yet again. And to the good earth in its new form as rain. And so it has gone on, this cycle, for ages. It will continue till the very last of life's pages. However, endless sunshine or showers would not be bliss. The passing of nature's seasons we all soon would miss. Yes, I do love autumn, my favorite time of the year. A time to reflect on all to me that is dear. Winter, and all wildlife prepares for to sleep. Through the wind, the rain, and the snow, sometimes deep cold, hauled deep from the bowels of the earth, warms our hearts and once again proves its worth. Logs, stockpiled in autumn, stacked in rows neat, now help feed our fire, providing essential heat. Past is the summer, and as autumn retires into this chilly scene, it magically inspires the creator to surpass other works and will seek to write a new concerto. With harmonies bleak, the theme is the same. Just as night follows day, all leading instruments have their own parts to play. In a wood of a crowded trees huddled together in an effort to combat the inclement weather, their branches like ghostly fingers, devoid of all flesh, ever reaching skyward, vying for space intermesh. Round and about the ground is hard and bare. A lone squirrel forages for his lost winter fare. As bonfire night approaches, it's invariably damp. Sensible birds migrate to another sunshine camp. Only the hardy remain, it's an enduring test. A wise owl, silly seagulls and the robin redbreast. Towards Christmas, the winter solstice celebration when festive snow brings Yuletide elation. This period of reassessment and rebirth will bring a fresh outlook on life's values. Come the spring. The primeval instinct to survive is inbred, and nothing remains stationary unless it is dead. So time will move on and provide further reason for the world to welcome the very next season. A poem by Jennifer Kersey. In a drawer, long forgotten, a dog-eared, faded photo, discarded lies. Amongst papers with all manner of documents and former contracted ties. The sepia colour slowly disappearing, dissolving back to original state before it was exposed to light and life, as was at some earlier date. The image is a soldier, and on the back is scribbled, a message to Mum. He looks so proud, she worries about her boy man overnight he has become. He gave everything for us, maybe even made the supreme sacrifice. Humans are such fickle beings, for our debts he paid the full price. His every moment, wretched heartache and pain, the futility of it all. Subsequent generations have squandered the results of his proud pull. Constant misery in the trenches, utter confusion of this, now his life, given so that others might have freedom from restrictions and strife. For those who never experienced this time of sheer extremes of emotion, the camaraderie, the sheer enormity of the task done with such devotion. He was scared, just like we all would be, and full of foreboding and woe. What was it, for he was just doing his duty, fighting an invisible foe. Slung into this alien existence he never wanted much, was still to do. One of the many who selflessly gave, even though his years were so few. Now, is he forgotten, and all that suffering he endured just for naught? Doing his bit for the cause in foreign fields he so gallantly fought. His act of bravery must never be diminished, despite what some would say. Freedom and the notion to have an opinion must be cherished every day. It does not just happen, or is a probity to be taken lightly. It cost much, so that we that are left must be eternally grateful with thanks, and as such. Honour real heroes who endured adversity, both in this land and afar, and won the right to stand free underneath that bright shining star. We will never forget, ever.